Hello students, welcome to the introduction lecture of Financial Accounting F3. This is your trainer Khizer Hussain, an ACCA member and ex-PwC auditor. In this lecture what we look at, because it's the general lecture, it's the introduction lecture, what we look at generally is the outlay of the syllabus. We look at how you get questions in an examination, how to prepare for the paper, what approach we'll take in order to study for the paper, and make sure that we ace it, obviously, right? So basically, financial accounting, as you know, and with obviously I'll give you an overview on this as well. There are two types, or I won't say type, I would say two categories, right, where you say that the accounting can be bifurcated. Number one is your financial accounting that we look at, and the second one is your management accounting, which is basically essentially F2, right? What I want to tell you at this stage is that your financial accounting, if you look at the structure of ACCA, right, financial accounting is a knowledge level paper, right? Financial accounting over here is a knowledge level paper, right? You basically have two levels mainly, right? Your fundamental level and your professional level. The fundamental level is broken down into the knowledge and the skills level, and obviously within the professional level you have professional papers. Your studies in financial accounting, that is F3, will help you in your studies in FR, which is your financial reporting, which is also known as F7, right? And your AA, which is audit and assurance, which is also known as F8, right? Over here in the professional studies, obviously when you study material over here, this is carried forward to your SBR and AAA. SBR is essentially strategic business reporting. Like I said, it's a professional paper, and within the professionals it is a strategic essential paper, right? And this is obviously advanced audit and assurance. Alright, now what you have to understand over here is that since the knowledge that you gain in this paper is carried forward in FR, which is obviously you have to give in order to pass ACCA, AA again you have to give in order to pass ACCA, SBR is one of the strategic essentials, and this is strategic basically is your professional paper, your optionals, basically professional optionals paper, right? So at least these three, FR, AA and SBR, you need to have a good grip on FA in order to pass these three papers, which will help you become an ACCA affiliate, right? Therefore, the knowledge you gain in this paper is very crucial. Okay, now moving forward, ACCA, after ACCA, certain students tend to pursue ICAEW, right, which is the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England's Wales, right? This paper over here, advanced level corporate, you basically have three papers advanced level, right? Corporate reporting, strategic business management, and the case study. The material you study, the knowledge you gain in FA is ultimately carried forward in your ICAEW advanced level paper, right? And it's not just corporate reporting. Yes, mainly it applies in the corporate reporting paper, but it's not just only corporate reporting, it's strategic business management and the case study as well. So what you have to understand over here is, like I said, and I'll repeat, and the reason I'm going to repeat is because the knowledge you gain over here is very essential. Okay, it's very essential. So like I said, financial accounting goes all the way and will help you get your ACC affiliation. Also, if you want to pursue ICAEW, it will help you get an affiliation at ICAEW as well. Okay. Now, moving forward, if you look at the syllabus outline of FA, F3 as we know it, number one, you have the financial reporting framework, right? Your financial reporting framework basically is basically, it helps you get the knowledge where you say that define if there's a transaction, how to report it. I would say it's a Bible of accounting. Alright, the financial reporting framework, it's a Bible of accounting. Okay, so financial reporting framework, double entry and ledger system, right? Accruals and prepayments. You probably have heard these terms, these names, you studied these topics in your FA1, FA2 as well. If you've done that, if not, you've probably studied that in your O levels or A levels, right? Control account reconciliations, bank recon, non-current asset, inventory provisions. Basically, these three topics are from specific standards. Alright, these three are from specific standards. Okay, so which obviously we'll look at later on. You have the capital structure, ready to raise finance in the form of equity or in the form of loan, right? Benefits of each of either of the two, right? And what costs do we incur, how to service a debt, for example, if it's equity, how to service that, right? So each and everything. Trial balance, errors and incomplete records, right? And finally, the preparation of single and consolidated financial statements, right? Basically, there's one essential topic as well, which is basically ratio analysis, right? Which ultimately is a summary of all these topics, all right? So you can only do ratio analysis if you know all these topics, I would say. Mainly 10 and 11. If you know 10 and 11, you'll easily do ratio analysis. Obviously, it's my job to tell you how to perform the ratio analysis, and before that, how to go with topic 10 and topic 11, right? If you look at the exam structure, right, you have the total marks that you will get within the exam 100. The format is on-demand CBE. That means CBE is basically a computer-based examination, right? On-demand means that it does not have a specific attempt, such as for other papers from F5 to F9, which is your PM to FM. You basically have attempts in March, June, September, and December, right? On demand means, so for example, if you enter an institute and you want to give a paper, you might have a date available. They might have a date available in the next, let's say, 10 days, right? You can give the paper in the next 10 days, so it's readily available. You can easily give the paper after you've prepared, for example, right? The duration of the exam is 2 hours. Again, if we bifurcate, this is what I always tell my students, right? So you have 100 marks and 120 minutes, right? So that's 120 divided by 100, which is 1.2 minutes per mark. That's your basic calculation. The reason I'm telling it before we start our studies is because when you start a crit practice, this is what we will follow. 1.2 minutes per mark. Okay, this is very crucial. The structure itself is you'll have 35 OTQs. OTQs are objective testing questions, right? Objective test questions, you call it, right? 2 marks each, which will constitute as 70 marks, right? And then you have 2 MTQs, multi-test questions, right? Or multi-task questions, you can call it, right? 15 marks each. That means the paper total turns out to be 100 marks. Alright, you have to know, and this is very important for you at this stage, that obviously when we get the required knowledge, when we practice together, that is when you know more about it. But at the very beginning of the paper, you should at least have the basic sense of how the examining team assesses you with the knowledge that you're taking in the paper. Alright, now moving on, after the exam structure, I would like to basically, and this is the question that a lot of students ask me when we start, so what resources to use, how we will study, or what resources to use. Alright, these are the recommended resources, right? I recommend obviously our lectures, most essential, right? And then you have the Kaplan book and the Kaplan kit. This is what I recommend for the course. Book reading, there's a lot of hype around so whether we should read the book or not, I recommend, and I always will recommend, book reading. If you want to get the knowledge, extra knowledge, right? Obviously, I would say 99.9% is covered through our lectures. Let's say there's 0.01% that you want to cover as well through test understandings or through example questions. You can do that through the Kaplan book. All right. And book reading, the reason why I recommend book reading is because it's a habit that you need to create if you already don't have it, right? And if you do, that's good. Okay, so book reading is always recommended at every level. I recommend, right? I teach knowledge level, I teach skills level, I teach professional level, I teach ICAW as well, right? So at every level, I recommend book reading. Okay, and the third one obviously is Kaplan Kit, which will help us practice our knowledge, which will help us practice through the entire course. Okay, this is our approach to ace the exam. Okay. Obviously, we'll start from the bottom left, which is your topic by topic lectures. Once we're done with the topic, all right, it's topic by topic, does not mean that one after the another. Once we're done with, let's say, bank reconciliation, right, we do the kit practice, and then we move on to the next topic. You understand? And once we're done with the entire kit practice, very crucial, okay, mock. Why? And mock in an exam condition. Let me tell you why. Psychologically, a lot of students fail to understand that when they're going in an exam, it's an unusual, it's an unprecedented environment for them. They haven't faced that environment probably in a long time, if not, let's say, very frequently, right? And what they need to understand is, when you feel the change in environment, when you feel the change in your comfort zone, I would say, when you get out of your comfort zone and you give an exam which is worth 100 marks and it's worth your time and your money, right? That is when students, it ultimately hits them, right? Just like a flash, and they tend to panic. I've seen this with hundreds of students, and this is why I have mandatorily basically incorporated in my approach that we will do mock exams, at least one within the exam I would say environment, right, within the exam scenario. Why? Like I said, in order to avoid that panic element, because a lot of students tend to panic, they get nervous, they get, they have this anxiety disorder, right, which triggers at that time, which I don't want students to have. Okay, naturally occurring, obviously everyone has it. Okay, but the point is, at this particular time, you need to be 100% focused, 100% attentive, 100% alert to what's in the exam, not to your surrounding. Alright, and in order to eliminate that attentiveness towards surrounding or concentration towards surrounding, I have introduced the mock, or I have made it mandatory in my sessions to do for the students to do mock. Okay, ultimately, when everything is set in the place, we target a position, alright, which I expect from most of you guys, because obviously you guys are smart, you guys are intelligent, you guys have the required time to study, you guys have the resources, you guys have me, you guys have the institute, you guys have the resource, the study resources, the practice resources, you have all the material, right? Why not target a position, or why not target at least 75, 80? For those students who don't target that, I'm 100% fine with them also. Everyone has their own objective, everyone has their own aim. Not everyone has to target 100%, and not everyone does that. Okay, if you're targeting 50, that's perfectly fine with me. I'll help you as much as I help a student that is targeting 100, okay, or targeting position, I would say. Alright, so this is something that students have this question in mind at the end, that, so will you help us the same? Yes, obviously I'll help you the same. Okay, finally, some questions that I get a lot when I start. Is this paper theory or numerical? It's both. Both. Alright. You cannot, and at this level you're now in a professional qualification, guys. Make sure that you get this out of your head right now. You trash it right now. There's no such bifurcation as theory or numerical. Alright. It's a mix of everything. It's a mix of everything. It's a mix of concepts. It's a mix of logic. It's a mix of numerics, mix of theory, mix of some laws, because you have like papers like F4, F6 as well, right? Mix of memorization, right? You have to memorize a lot of stuff. Okay, so it's a mix of everything. Okay, that's why this qualification stuff. That's why any professional qualification stuff. Okay. Second, what type of options will we get in the exam? You'll obviously look at the, when you look at the kit, you'll get to know more about it. But in most of the cases, you get 4 options. In most of the cases, right? In some cases, you get 6 options, and the examiner asks you to choose 2, right? In another, in some cases, you would get a blank, and you'll have to write in a figure. Okay, so you get various options. Like I said, examiner is not there to test one particular aspect, either the syllabus or your mindset. They want to diversify it so that you broaden your mind and you broaden your knowledge as well. Is book reading important? I've already answered that, and I'll repeat it. Yes. Okay. Yes, it's important. Not because you have the knowledge in the book which is not similar to, or which is not the same as our lectures. Obviously the same is the same thing, but you need to create that habit. Lastly, what should be the studying strategy while we are still on the lectures? A revision, right? Timely revision. Very important. Okay, and obviously I'll tell you how to strategize it during the lectures. Stay safe, guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next lecture, which will essentially be our first lecture, right? And it will be a summary of the double entry system. Okay, take care. Goodbye.